Hiya, and welcome back to One Last Night, the game that teaches us that if anyone harms the Bunker Bat Boy, we will break their fucking liver. Anyways, let's just hop right in. Beep, beep, beep. Hiya. Ugh. 5 more minutes. Beep, beep, beep. Wait, am I allowed to, like, turn off naughty stuff? I cannot turn off naughty stuff. I don't trust it. I don't trust it! I flutter my eyes open to the sound, ready to turn off whatever decided to wake me today. Oh, okay. Okay. Ready to turn off whatever decided to wake me today. I catch sight of my alarm clock, but it's not ringing. With a groan, I sit myself up to look for the source before catching the soft blue glow of my phone screen on the nightstand. I reach out and silence it, turning the screen off before taking a moment to process why it had energy after dying last night. Shit. I must have forgotten to unplug it before I fell asleep last night. Instead, I did so now with a huff of disappointment in myself. That done, I climbed back into my bunk to get some more rest before my alarm rung for the day. I close my eyes and begin to slowly drift off once more. As if on cue, my clock lets out my daily wake-up alarm and ruins any other chances of sleep. I sigh and sit up properly, preparing for the day ahead that's to come. There's a whole lot of hoping ahead of me, and a schedule helps to keep me busy and holding on to it. It was much easier to be a morning person when I had a sunrise and a view to greet me, rather than the soft glow of the bunker lights. After a few months of that, you really miss natural light. Hell, you miss everything about the outside world. Being trapped in one place for so long was enough to drive anyone crazy. It almost made me want to try the busted hatch again in hopes that I could see out from it, but I knew that was of no use. I still had no way of knowing what happened to the outside world. All internet and phone service had been cut off since the start of it all. You looked at the tweet and you're surprised? What do you mean? What tweet? Oh, okay. I hope that whenever a team came to rescue me, there was still a world out there to greet me. That is, if the rescue ever comes. Which it would. Probably. Now wasn't the time to worry, though. I'd set a schedule for myself with some parental advice, and I was going to stick to it. Yeah, I remember the tweet about the game. Yeah, this. Stick to it. If I kept busy, I wouldn't be driving myself up the wall with anxiety over what was next. With a schedule as well, I knew what was to come for the rest of the day. As little as it may have been, it had kept me from going insane thus far. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, which is why I added a little variety to each day as well. I would cycle through chores on different days as well as allow myself a day off every so often. Factor in the abundance of other activities at my fingertips and I was set with enough variety to help my sanity. As I rinsed my mouth from brushing my teeth, I took a moment to look at myself in the mirror with my outfit for the day. Wednesdays were for black crop tops and jeans. Since I wasn't out to my parents, I could at least express my identity through my clothing. I had a few different outfits I cycled through, but one piece of clothing stayed with me for each one. I brought a hand up to my chest. I know! He's even cuter! I brought a hand up to my chest to rub the fabric of my pink bandana, drawing comfort from the texture. It was the last present Grandma had given me before she passed. I smiled at the fond memories of her, of how even though I was a child, it felt like she understood me better than anyone had. I missed her. Shaking off the sadness, I focused on my reflection once more. Another day in paradise, Xavier. Help will come, but until then, it's time for you to make the most of it. I exited the bedroom at last and made my way out to the common area. If I wasn't already used to the dim lighting, I was sure I'd have stubbed a toe by now. I browsed the shelves of canned goods, searching for whichever soup would best suit the Wednesday mood. Going about breakfast, I caught my dad sitting at the table out of the corner of my eye. He had his usual instant coffee in his hands, casually sipping at it as he woke up as well. "Morning, Dad. How'd you sleep?" My voice didn't seem to faze him as he drank from the mug. Right, no talking until after your first coffee. Enjoy then. I rushed to heat my soup on the small electric stove we kept in the kitchen. By the time I sat down to eat, he was already gone. This was typical of him and Mom, honestly. I barely got to see them before any of this, so why would that change now, right? I hoped to talk with him for a little while, at least. With half an appetite, I ate, drinking down a fair amount and saving the rest for later. I needed the energy for when I would be rescued, but I also needed to ration until that day would come. I was glad for the luxuries my parents had put into this bunker. There was a variety of things to keep me busy and living well enough. The common area had a proper kitchen equipped with various pots and pans, cutlery, and dried spices. There had been a greater selection of food in the earlier weeks. It was important to use that up before it all went bad. Unfortunately, then by now it was all from the canned options. Without the seasonings, the food would have no doubt gotten repetitive fast. Aside from sustenance, there were plenty of board games and books for me to choose from. Dad liked to collect older copies of things, so not all of it was necessarily up to date. Not many electronics, though. I was fairly certain my parents had stashed a computer down here somewhere, but I had yet to find it. They wouldn't tell me when I asked either. Must have already read everything we had down here by now. My love of literature, my most frequent time killer for the day. So another V in after. Well, it depends on what time we get done. If we get done early, then we'll jump into tennis ace. If we get done past 10:30, then, well, no. Then no. I considered continuing where I left off in my current reread, but decided evening was a better time to do it. Chores weren't the most exciting thing to start off a day with, but getting them out of the way first meant I didn't have to worry about them later. And done. I sat at the coffee table with the huff of relief, happy to have completed my most hated chores first. The dishes were clean, the floors swept, and the surfaces dusted. It had taken a good 2 hours out of my day. I reveled in it, grateful for the passing time. Having to do these tasks every other day helped keep them shorter overall, meaning it wasn't an even longer process to do as it had been growing up. Only task left now was to head to the greenhouse. Growing plants underground required a lot of energy and resources, but it meant that there was a renewable oxygen source without having to worry about tainted surface air leaking in. Though in case of an emergency like a power outage, an automated system would switch the vents on to allow for air as the plants would begin to die fast in the dark. As if to accentuate this, the dim lighting began to flicker. It'd been doing that a lot recently, which is why it all set bunker lights except the greenhouse to a low setting to save power. I'd also unplugged most electronics from their outlets and kept only a few essentials charged. I had no idea whether we were running out faster than normal, but I kept all my candles and lanterns in easy-to-reach places just in case. Luckily, my parents bought plenty for that exact scenario. The humidity was thick on my fur as I entered the greenhouse, making me uncomfortable as it began to dampen. I was glad today was a crop-top day. Filling up a watering can, I set about taking care of the individual plants. A majority were basic house plants, with flowers scattered throughout to add some color to the greenery. Right? Like, okay, I imagine the bunker being like Fallout. The style of like the Fallout shelters. I was imagining something like this, but this is nice. This is very nice. Admiring a group of pink orchids in the mix was also where I found my mom. She loved to take her time down here frequently, her love of plants sticking with her even in closed captivity. "Hey Mom, enjoying the day so far?" She nodded, not taking her eyes off the flowers. "That's good. Actually, I was wondering, do you think the three of us could play a board game later? We haven't been able to try them all yet." Her smile grew a bit before she nodded again, straightening herself up and walking to the exit. I missed spending time like that with them so much. Maybe this whole silent treatment thing would come to an end soon. I was growing tired of my own voice. Humming a melody as I worked, I thought over the games. Cards weren't technically a board game, but always fun with the variety it came with. Games that would cause further intensity were out of the question, though, so that meant no Monopoly. Especially after what happened last time. We never did find all the pieces after that. Maybe something like Mousetrap could work? I knew how much they loved hands-on work. Trivia was also a good shout. My passion for learning new things was something I'd inherited from the family. As I finished up the watering, I took comfort in the lack of humidity outside the room. Oh? I took comfort in the lack of humidity outside the room. He was never really my thing. My neck fur already beginning to poof up. A bath sounded nice about now, but saving it until after finishing that soup and a workout seemed like a better way to save water and stay clean. Parents were nowhere in sight. I finished off the soup and cleaned the respective dishes before moving toward my favorite part of the structure. I brightened the lights as I entered the archery hall, not wanting to risk using a weapon in the dark. The targets at the end were covered in holes, and I knew I'd have to change them again soon. I shut the door behind me and took a deep breath, feeling my muscles loosen and relax. I stretched, eyeing my bow and a multitude of arrows. Okay. I had a thought. I thought of something. Do these people not use solar energy? Like, I feel like in any survival situation, you need a constant source of energy. And solar energy is a very good source of energy. And I'm assuming that this game takes place in recent times, so like 2010, 2020 or so. Like, maybe like, I imagine the game takes place in I don't think we have an exact date, but I would imagine recent times, like maybe late 2010s or early 2020s. So, like, in the apocalypse, that is a very good thing to have. Yeah. So, like, I imagine that they would have access to, like, resources. Like, you would imagine that, but I guess not. I guess they haven't thought about using that. This was always the best part of my day, no matter what. When I was younger, my father had given me a list of defensive activities to choose from. He told me I needed to be proficient in at least one of them. Archery was the one I'd picked, and I'd known from the moment I picked up a bow that it was the right choice. Most bats had the ability to fly, at least partially compared to our feral counterparts. Sadly, I'd unfortunately been born with only one wing. The joy that my family and others felt while soaring through the skies was something I'd never have. I think that's why archery is a comfort to me. It gives me the ability to stretch my arms out and feel the strength within them without having to worry about my disability. Gently taking the bow off the wall, I feel the familiar texture in my grasp and notice an anxiety I didn't realize was there begin to dwindle. Oh my god! He looks so pretty! I nock an arrow, aiming carefully at the distant target and drawing in a deep breath. I'm in control. And it flies, once again hitting the brutally punctured center. Bullseye. The soft smile on my face at my success only increases the calm spreading throughout me. Whether rescue is coming or not, whether anxiety filled my chest, no matter what the future holds, I know this. I have a home in archery. My favorite part after bathing and toweling off had to be how fluffy my head fur got. It was soft and fuzzy, perfect to run my fingers through after. My parents used to do it all the time. Speaking of them, however, they were nowhere in sight as I entered the common area and scanned the shelves. X marks the spot. I pulled the current book I was going through off the shelf and sat down at the table, getting ready to relearn and practice my Morse code skills. There was no telling when this would come in handy. When the rescue shows up, this could be how they were able to communicate with me. I need to be prepared. Most likely their questions will all be yes or no, so it'd be beneficial to practice those words as well as an answer if I don't know how to respond. Unknown is the shortest and most likely term for it I can think of right now. Simple one-word answers will make any communication efficient enough to get things going faster. And I want out of here as fast as possible. Alright, Xavier, let's go over potential questions and how best to answer them. You left that page with your notes here somewhere. I opened the book to the front first, trying to see if I left the loose paper there, but only finding the handwritten dedication. To Athena and Luther Monroe. A strange congrats on the new baby gift for sure, but useful if he shares your wits. Love. Whatever name had been written there was scribbled out long ago, and I always wondered who had given it to us. Considering the use of love, they had to have been close. I shook my head, snapping myself out of the distraction so I could get back to work. I really needed to learn how to not get sidetracked so often. I flipped through the book before the folded paper slides out. I'll probably have to create a new one soon. The current version was already showing age from being handled so often. I pick it up and grab a pencil to tap out my answers with. Question 1. Is everyone alive down there? Yes. Question 2. Are you currently safe? Yes. Question 3. Are there any injuries? No. Question 4. Are there any structural threats if we open the hatch? Unknown. Question 5. How many are down there? I pause, struggling to remember how the numbers system works in Morse code. Seems like I found my weak spot to study on. I flip the pages in the book to the index, finding the correct page number and heading up there to study up on. I smack myself on the forehead, chastising myself for forgetting how easy it is to communicate. The numbers go from 1 to 0 and switch out dots and dashes as they go. It means a dot followed by 2 dashes is 4, 2 dots followed by 3 dashes, and so on until 9 is 4 dashes and 1 dot. 0 is represented by 5 dashes. I remember practicing those on the radio with Dad as a kid. He bought us a pair to communicate across the house for fun. Those early days were full of fond memories. The memories from before they were overprotective. Said radio was later replaced by a phone, since I could then message them whenever they went to work. To say that they worked more than average was an understatement. Janitors work very odd hours. The memory of the notification this morning draws me back to the present, having realized I'd never checked what it was for. Oh? It doesn't take me long to find it in the bedroom, pressing the on button to show the wallpaper of a cockpit overlooking a sea of clouds. I hope I can still be a pilot when this is all over. Now, what was that notification for? Oh. It's my birthday. I'm 22 now. My legs begin to feel weak and I fall onto the bed, staring numbly at the words until the screen turns off. Feels like a slap in the face, a tangible reminder of just how long I've been down here. I can feel the tears welling up in my eyes as reality sets in. Month after month, I've waited down here in the hopes of rescue, in hopes of getting out of here, in hopes that just something would go fucking right. All that hope beginning to fade. The room begins to blur as my mind spirals into despair. Everything feels so bleak and meaningless and I want to break. What am I even supposed to do? I ask myself that and it triggers a memory to play before my eyes. One of the last I have of my grandmother. I've been gifted a Lego playset for my birthday and was ecstatic to assemble it. Something in my mind just loved the challenge of assembling things like it. Except I was also impatient. I had ignored the instructions and tried to assemble it on my own, putting pieces together in whatever order I thought would be right. No matter how hard I tried though, it didn't look how it was supposed to. I was on the verge of frustrated tears when Grandma stepped in to help. She asked me what the matter was and I explained, her listening as attentive as always. When I was done, she simply grabbed the instructions and sat next to me. She told me that sometimes the most obvious answers were sat plainly in front of us. If we rushed everything, there was so much we would miss out on and hinder our experience. This applied to everything from toys to general life. Patience is a virtue, my little wonder bat. Take things one step at a time. One step at a time. I echoed her words now, wiping the tears from my eyes. I wouldn't give up yet. I wouldn't give up yet. Not while there was still a chance I could get out of there and find them. I just had to take it slowly, a step at a time. And the current next step? Celebrate what was left of my birthday. Oh God. Oh no. There weren't exactly any streamers to hang, nor party hats or over-the-top decorations to help me celebrate the start of my next life chapter. I kept it simple instead, managing to find a packet for a mug cake my parents must have hidden from me for an occasion like this. There was no way I could fit enough candles into the mug like a regular cake, so I grabbed a single birthday candle to light and place on top. Parents were already sitting around the table, waiting for me to come and join them for my celebration. We were all together, something that rarely happened now. Once the microwave beeped, I carefully slid the hot mug out to avoid burning myself and went to set it on the table. As if someone was watching, the moment the dish touched the wood, the light began to flicker, before cutting off entirely. The entire room was plunged into near darkness. I was lucky I'd already lit the candles. There was a loud thunk as what I presumed was the shift of the vents opening to let outside air come from above. I sighed, knowing this was bound to happen for a while now. I should check the generator just in case. Well, at least the mug cake will have time to cool. I went to slide my phone from my pocket as a soft hiss came from the nearest duct, indicating the surface air beginning to leak in. I turned on the screen and flicked the notifications down to turn on the built-in flashlight, when the panel flickered and the phone shut off entirely. The battery was still in the high 80s, so it made no sense why it would suddenly stop working. Even the power button gave it no signs of life. I tossed it onto the table and sighed in defeat, giving up on checking the generator and sitting down. I just wanted one thing to be good for the moment, and the dessert in front of me would have to suffice. Bringing my face out of my hands, I noticed my parents had gotten up and moved to stand behind me. They each set a hand on my shoulders and gestured to the candle. Oh, right. The wish. As per birthday tradition, I had to blow out the candle and make a wish. So many thoughts were running through my head, my brain having a hard time trying to decide on just one. I want to get out of here. I want to see the sun again. I want to fly. I want to be able to eat a fresh apple again. There were so many things I wanted, it was hard to decide on just one. I wish... But that was a lie. I knew which stood out to me the most. The thing I wanted more than anything. The desire that had kept me up late on several nights, sometimes leading me to cry myself to sleep. No matter what had happened in the past, no matter how hard I tried to convince myself I was okay without them, I knew it wasn't true. There was still that sense of safety that they gave, that sense of comfort I so desperately needed. The tears welled up in my eyes, threatening to break through the dam I'd constructed in front of them. I took a deep breath, then blew out the candle and whispered my desire quietly into the empty room. That you were here with me.
What?
And the dam broke. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Anyways, I'm not going to do another stream tonight. I'm just going to leave off here tonight. So, yeah. Stay safe, have a good night. There will probably be more Tennis Ace tomorrow. So yeah, stay safe, have a good night. And I will see you all tomorrow.